They thought it would be funny, a setup, a prank, a way to laugh at someone who didn't deserve pain, a single dad, and a girl they believed wasn't beautiful enough to be loved. But that night, something happened that changed lives. His name was Daniel, a quiet man, soft eyes, a heart that had carried too much loss. 2 years earlier, his wife passed away. Since then, every day felt heavy, like walking while holding broken pieces of himself. He worked long hours, not for luxury, but to give his daughter a steady life. Her name was Lily, 6 years old, a bright smile, soft voice, but every night before bed, she asked the same question. "Daddy, when will someone love you again?" Daniel never knew how to answer. He would just kiss her forehead and whisper, "One day." His co-workers noticed he was lonely, but instead of helping, they decided to make fun of him. They planned a blind date, not to find him love, but to watch him get embarrassed. The girl's name was Sarah. She wasn't thin. She wasn't the kind society celebrates. She had struggled with her weight for years, not because she was lazy, not because she didn't care, but because food became comfort when life became too heavy. She ate when she felt unwanted. She ate when she cried alone. She ate because it was the only thing in life that didn't judge her. People stared at her. People whispered. People laughed. But she still lived with gentleness, even when the world wasn't gentle with her. The night of the date arrived. The restaurant was warm, dim, peaceful, soft music, glasses clinking, people whispering over candlelight. Daniel walked in looking nervous, but hopeful. When he saw Sarah sitting alone at the corner table, he slowed. Not because of her size, but because at the back of the restaurant, his co-workers were laughing, holding their phones, recording, waiting for the moment he would walk away. And suddenly, everything made sense. This wasn't a date. It was humiliation. His heart dropped. Then he looked at Sarah. She sat straight, hands folded, eyes lowered, trying so hard to hide her pain. She knew. She heard the laughter. She saw the stares. She felt the cruelty. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. And in that moment, Daniel didn't feel pity. He felt anger, sadness, a deep ache for her, a stranger. He walked toward her, slowly, steadily. When he reached the table, she whispered without looking up, "You don't have to stay. I know this is a joke." Her voice was fragile, and those words cut deep. Daniel pulled out the chair and sat, loud enough for everyone to hear. He smiled softly and said, "I'm staying." She finally looked up. Her eyes showed surprise, confusion, and a tiny spark of hope. The room watched. The laughing stopped. Daniel leaned forward and gently said, "Tell me about yourself." For a moment, she couldn't speak, not because she had no words, but because no one had ever cared enough to listen. Then she began talking. Slowly, at first. She talked about books, baking, art, her dream of opening a bakery with warm bread and cinnamon rolls. And for the first time in a long time, she smiled. Not a small, polite smile, a real one, soft and bright. Daniel watched her like she was a sunrise, quiet, gentle, beautiful. And slowly, the co-workers lowered their phones, because something real was happening. When dinner ended, Sarah stood with trembling hands. She whispered, "Thank you for not leaving." Daniel took a deep breath and said words she would remember forever. "I didn't stay in spite of who you are. I stayed because of who you are." She covered her mouth as tears fell. Not from hurt, but from finally being seen. Days passed, then weeks, then months, and something soft and steady grew between them. Not fast, not rushed, but gently, like healing, like trust, like love. Lily adored Sarah. She would braid imaginary braids in her hair and whisper, "You make Daddy happy." Every time, Sarah's eyes filled with tears, because for the first time in her life, she believed she was worthy. One snowy evening, under warm lights and soft music, Daniel knelt down. His voice shook. "Will you walk through life with us? Not perfect, not flawless, just real?" Sarah cried, full-body tears, joyful tears. She said yes. At the wedding, the same co-workers who once laughed were now wiping tears. Because sometimes kindness speaks louder than cruelty, and love can change even the hardest hearts. If you ever catch yourself judging someone by their appearance, pause. Look again. Maybe they are carrying stories, scars, and strength you cannot see. Maybe they are more beautiful than you ever imagined. Kindness is not about perfection. It's about seeing the heart no one else sees.